Hello, I am Ron Miscavige, and this is Story Time. And I'm going to be reading you a story today out of a book I wrote called True Confessions of a Kid. There's another one that I also wrote that I'll be reading stories out of in the future, and that's called Hideouts for Midgets on the Lam. Anyway, without any further ado or any more words, let's get into it. And today's story, I think it's very interesting. By the way, all of these stories I'm reading are true life experiences that happened to me. These are not fiction. And I hope you enjoy it because I enjoyed writing it and I enjoyed the experience. Now here we go. This story is called An Oddity. It was Saturday afternoon, summertime, and it was a beautiful day. Oak Street, the main shopping street in my hometown, is about 3 blocks long, and as usual on a Saturday, it was jammed with people shopping, yakking with each other, telling each other where they were going to go that night, or just enjoying themselves. Most of Saturday night's hell-raising was planned during the day on Oak Street, and of course anyone of notoriety or fame, either one, strutted around with their flunkies and yes-men tagging along with them. Now, one of these characters was a guy by the name of Johnny Lombardo, an Italian boxer. His fame was basically in the coal region, where he had the reputation of being a very gutsy fighter. He won about twice as many fights as he lost. In other words, not a great fighter, but decent. Still, he was a cool guy and he always had the chicks falling all over him. And get this, his fights in Mount Carmel were at the Mother of Consolation Church Community Hall, where they would put up a boxing ring and people could go in to see him fight. Yes, a Catholic community hall turned into a boxing ring with chicks walking around holding up cards with a round coming up written on them. Now just imagine, a Catholic church sponsoring boxing matches and going to the extent of putting up a boxing ring so this could take place. How off can you get? Yet none of us spotted this as such in those days. Getting back to this story, I was about 15 years old going into 11. Let me give you that again. Getting back to this story, I was about 15 years old going into 11th grade and was already playing trumpet with various bands in clubs on Saturday night for money. I would say saloons or barrooms is more correct. But sometimes I played at the Knights of Columbus or the Redmen's Club, so I guess you could say I was playing in some clubs, so I would sound a little higher class. As a note, when I was playing with bands as a teenager, nobody ever questioned my age or even made mention of it. If you could play, nobody gave a hoot. And if you were playing in the band and you had 10 cents to put on the bar, they would give you a glass of beer. Real laissez-faire. Yeah, more stories on this later. I was also on Oak Street doing some shopping, but mostly just hanging out in Nick the Greek's shoe shine parlor and roasting peanuts emporium when I spotted Barber through the window as she was strolling down the street. Nick the Greek's shoe shine parlor was about 8 feet wide with a peanut roasting machine that sat in the window, 3 seats where you could get your shoes shined, a pinball machine, and a back room where we would play card games like poker or 21. We bet pennies, which in those days, 5 of them would buy you a Coke or a Hershey bar. This made Nick feel proud as he felt he was running a little gambling parlor in the back room. Now, Barbara was a very good-looking girl, probably one of the best-looking girls in town. Many times I thought of asking her out to the movies, but I just couldn't take it if she would have shoot me down with a no for an answer. That's it. I decided this was the day. No matter what, I'm going to take a chance and ask her out. I went outside, and there she was. Fortunately, she was looking in a store window when I passed her by, so I could reverse my direction and pretend I was coming towards her. As she walked toward me and I toward her, she smiled at me. We both stopped. I said hello, and we engaged in some pleasant conversation. How nice the day was, how are you doing, etc. Should I make my move? Screw it, I'll ask her. If I get shot down, so what? So I said, How would you like to go to a movie with me? She said, I would really like that. And at that very moment, precisely at that moment, a fruit fly flew out of her right eyebrow. The bubble burst. I never did call to confirm the movie date. The magic was gone. End of the story. Think about it. What are the odds of a fruit fly flying out of a person's eyebrow? It happened. But at that point, good looking as she was, I lost it for her. So now that was today's story. I hope you enjoyed it, because I'm going to be coming out with more of these. And these are strictly for your enjoyment. Take a break, take a few minutes, sit down, watch one of these, get a little laugh, or just feel refreshed for the moment. But if you'd like to find out more about what I do, you can go to my website, therealronmiscavige.com. And as an additional note, this day I really want to point out something. If you care about your health or well-being, or actually strength, I started a new series called Workouts for Veterans. It's called Home Workouts for Veterans or Anybody. Check this out. This is pretty valuable information, and you will really benefit if you take advantage of this. But at any rate, for the moment, I'm done, so I don't want to do any more commercials here. Just go to my website, therealronmiscavige.com. It'll tell you all about me. So for now, until the next episode of Storytime, I'm Ron Miscavige, your host and your Storytime teller. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.